here with Sam. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, man. I'm glad to be here.
Hey, good to have you. Um, uh, I'm really excited to get into this. We had some really nice dialogue back and forth. You coach, well, I'll let you tell. What group, a category of people do you coach, and you help with them with sales and closing more deals? So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we do sales training and basically sales systems, whole operation systems within companies, but mostly sales focused for home services. So everything from HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and then even outside of that, garage doors or you name it. If someone improves a home, then we help the communication side of all of those companies.
got it. So, in my industry, property management, people would call those vendors. That's
The
usually what
vendors.
they call
Uh-huh.
them. They're like, these are the vendors. And so we thought it was fun. I went on your podcast. We had this really fun dialogue. I highly recommend you go check out Sam's episode with Jason Hull and go check that out. Um, we were going back and forth because we had done a survey each to our audiences, like what's frustrating about HVAC companies and what's frustrating about property management companies,
Right.
and just seeing the disconnect that existed there. So, which was interesting. So, before we get into this, I want to read a quick message from our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by KRS Smart Books. Do you have properties to manage and zero time for bookkeeping headaches? KRS Smart Books is your secret weapon. They specialize in finances for busy property managers like you with 15 plus years of real estate know how and skills in Appfolio, Yardi, and more. Imagine monthly reports magically appearing and zero accounting stress. Sound good? Head to krsbooks.com to book your free discovery call. Integrity, quality, and a dash of bookkeeping brilliance. That's KRS Smart Books. And that's K's in Kansas, R's in Rogers, S in Sam. Sam. All right. So cool. Now let's get into this. So we're going to talk about closing deals, but why don't you give us, my audience, a little bit of background? How did you get into sales and then starting your own company, helping people with sales, and like how did Close It Now come to be?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for the that question. So, I've spent almost 20 years now in home services. Most of my time has been in HVAC. I've done solar. I've done a lot of different trades over the years, and it came to a place. So I launched the Close It Now company in 2019 because I really just recognized this a place where there was not a lot of modern training for because truly all that sells is just communication. It's how do we communicate clearer and in a way where we can educate so somebody can understand one what we're talking about and two why they should care and how it's going to make a difference in their life.
Hmm.
So at the essence of that, so I was looking for some more modern training for my people at my company that I had at the time, and I didn't find anything out there. So I just said, well, now we have a space for, I have communication skills I can train people. So that's when I launched the company in 2019. And so much of my career built up to that point of, and specifically how it affects here and why I'm here today. I've worked with so many property management companies and
Mm.
individuals across 20 years of doing this.
Yeah,
So I've definitely learned a lot of best practices and a lot of the things not to do.
got it.
I'll own my mistakes as well as, coming across maybe property managers that I wouldn't work with again. And
Right. Yeah.
so from all of that experience, I started the training company. So I work with those home service companies to communicate better. A lot of it is, you know, of course, working directly with homeowners, but also there's a huge portion of all of those companies that you know rely on it and need property management companies to really help them stay in business, and in turn they can turn around and help those property management companies to efficiently take care of properties. But there's always seems to be this kind of struggle of that back and forth. So that's
Mm.
obviously why we're here today is a big part of that. But
Yeah.
that's some of my history. I've been doing it 20 years. I started Close It Now 6 years, or in coming up on, yeah, April this year, next month is 6 years
Nice.
anniversary of the company, and it's been a fun ride. and we've definitely helped lots and lots of organizations to to grow in a way,
You're
and
helping
of
them
course
close it
close it down.
now.
Hmm.
All right. Yeah, got it. All right. So you're helping these vendors close more deals, right?
Hmm.
So give us the property managers I think would love to hear. You're on the other side of this relationship between property managers and vendors. What have you seen and what's the general feedback that you're noticing of the property management industry? What's kind of the vendor's perspective?
Hmm.
Because I know property managers, they get frustrated with vendors, right? They're like, oh, the
Sure.
vendors like say you need something when you don't, and like they don't, like it's difficult to reach them or this or whatever, right? What are
Hmm.
some of the complaints and gripes about property management companies?
Yeah, complaints and gripes about property management companies. One of the big ones is their lack. A lot of it is kind of the same thing: lack of communication. That's always one of
Okay.
the biggest complaints that comes up. Is we'll get, say someone, a property manager will call in to for us to go evaluate a property. Maybe they're having we'll take an air conditioning issue or something like that. So we'll show up, and then we're trying to call ahead. There's no clear information was given on who to call ahead to. Then we show up to the appointment. Maybe the tenant's there, maybe not. A lot of times they're not there. Then we can't
Okay.
get a hold of the property manager to even get in the place. So now we're like dancing around in this circle of, okay, who do we contact? Get frustrated, move on to the next call. Then the property manager calls and, well, why'd you leave? Somebody was there. Well, nobody was there. And so all of this just
Mm,
seems to happen too often.
yeah.
So it creates a stereotype. When the stereotype is created, that means, of course, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the big ones, is the lack of communication. And I know that I've heard that the other direction as well. But
Mm,
that's one of the things I hear the most.
yeah. Got it. Yeah, so I think I'm sure when a vendor finds a property manager that does communicate effectively,
Hmm.
that there's clarity in that communication happening, and they've got good systems in place. The tenant's there, the tenant understands what's going on, everybody's informed, then those are probably can be really great relationships to have.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, those are, the last organization I was at. I was with them. I was a sales manager and trainer for 6 years there, and I went through about 18 different property management companies to find 2 to 3 that were worth working with.
Wow.
And that was, just sadly, we were always open to when a property management company came to us and were like, hey, we need you to do some work. We're looking for a new vendor. We're like, sure,
Mm,
absolutely. We'll try you out as well as you're trying us out.
right.
But sadly, the 2 or 3 that we did find great relationships with, they were fantastic relationships, because
Yeah.
we, part of my ethics is our team was like, we will show up on time no matter what. We
Right.
always do what we say. We will never, recommend something that's not verifiable from from our testing. We're not going to just guess at this, because we're not guessing with anybody's,
Yeah.
investment. And at the same time, when we, say we're going to do the work, we do the work, and we show up to do the work we say we're going to. So that was my ethics statement I always led with. And then basically I would ask the property management company, can I expect the same thing from you guys?
Right.
And sure enough, the second that we met in the middle and said, yes, this is how we want to do business, those relationships were always the very best ones. Because sure, were we a few more dollars than the other contractor down the street?
Sure.
Yes. But we showed up when we said we were going to, and we did the right work right the first time. And so that's
Right.
the big part of that disconnect, I think, is it seems like so many, a lot of times property management companies think all the companies are the same, so they're looking for maybe
Whoever's
just a cheaper
cheapest.
price.
Mm.
But then what they get is a company that doesn't communicate and doesn't show up when they say they're going to. And it's really the old adage, you get what you pay for.
Property managers have the same sort of problem is that a lot of people that are looking for a property manager are just looking for the cheapest price and they
Hmm.
hate that. They're like, we're not all the same, right? So yeah, I think it's really important. I think this is dictated by the morals, the ethics, and the values of the business owner.
Hmm.
It's always a top down thing. And so if the business owner is a cheapo, They attract cheapo clients and they deal with vendors through this cheapo lens. And this is where there's going to be a lot of mess and a lot of communication issues. And a lot of times the business owner, and this goes for any business in any industry, has a blind spot to the fact that they're cheap.
Hmm.
But there, you know, you're a cheapo if you're the person that's always looking for the stupid coupon code. Every time you buy everything online, you're always like hunting for that. Like, I don't have time to do that. Like, that's a
Hmm.
massive waste of my time to go find save 10% on some stupid $100 thing online, right?
Right.
Like, oh, I'm searching around, right? Oh, I saved $10, even though I could have made $100,000. Like, if I just like built something awesome, right?
Hmm.
So I think there's a mindset issue is that these property managers or vendor business owners are not valuing their time enough. If you value your time, you value other people's time.
Hmm.
You then show up on time. You then like try to make sure like your schedule is tight. You want to make sure your schedule is full. Like you because you value your time and you feel that it's important. And if you really value your time enough as a person, you get things like assistance, you get team members, like you get support because your time is so valuable that you want to go buy other people's time because it's less valuable
Hmm.
than your time, right? And this is how we scale our businesses over time is we're buying other people's time that are like they're willing to trade and give up their life, chunks of their life for money. And as business owners, we want to not give up big chunks of our life for just money. We want to be able to have something scalable. And so I think there's a mindset thing that we have to not be cheap. We have to operate with integrity. And then our team members need to have these values instilled in them. And if we don't build the right culture, it's on us as a business owner.
Hmm.
And if we don't build the right culture, we then don't have longevity in our business. We don't get return business. We don't get return
Right.
clients. We don't get to have that really good vendor to continue to work with. We don't get to have that property owner continue to want to work with us, right? Because we have showcased that we are not on top of things or that we don't have the right values or that we don't have healthy mindset. And so I feel like at the foundation of everything, it always comes back to mindset a lot
Hmm.
of times.
I 100% agree with that. It's funny that you kind of started this conversation going down this path. This is something that's been a very, uh, basically a soapbox for me lately, a big hot button.
Yeah.
Is when I'm
Jump on that
coaching and
soapbox, Sam. Let's go.
yeah, when I'm coaching and training people lately, especially with this last week, especially,
Yeah.
um, I'm training people with sales and that type of focus, and of course people always come to me, hey, how do I overcome these sales objections? Somebody says I want to get three bids, or somebody says your price is too high, I want to shop around, or I need to think about it.
Yeah.
And instead of just going straight to, well, here's the word track and how to handle these objections,
Yeah.
we always start with any time that you find a trend in your life. So if you're getting the same consistent objection, say somebody's getting every single time they get to the end of their appointment and the homeowner or whoever they're talking to says, I want to think about it. It's like the second you start to develop a trend in your life,
Yeah.
look internally because you are attracting exactly who you are. I would be willing to bet
Yeah.
that person does the same thing when they shop. So
Yeah.
then no wonder you're getting every single one of your clients is telling you, I want to think about it. Or if when you shop, do you ask for, say, oh, I've got to get some three bids on this thing. I got to look around. Well,
Yeah.
no wonder the people you're selling to always have to get three bids because we attract who we are. And it
Yeah.
starts right here in the mind. And it's incredible how that works.
Yeah. Because if we're anxious, if we have that energetic sort of anxiety that like things are, it's expensive, and we go into that trying to sell it to somebody,
Hmm.
then they can feel that and we present it differently. And so we're like, here's the price, and like, yeah, and it's worth it. And they can just, there's so many little subtle clues they pick up on that, hey, this seems a little high. And because sometimes, like, if you're presenting to somebody and they're not what I call a cheapo, there's three types of buyers: cheapos, normals, and premiums, I call
Hmm.
them. And normals are like, you typically like 60%. They're like the majority, 61%. The smallest group are usually the premium buyers, supposedly. But the idea is this: if you present it, if you are not, if you're a premium buyer and I present a price and I'm not even going to like flinch and telling you about it, I'm like, yeah, we've got this and this is what it costs and this. And they're going to go, oh, this person feels really confident. It's
Hmm.
just energetically how we present it. There's no like, hey, I'm trying to prep you for this price, reveal because it's going to hurt a little bit,
Hmm.
right? Or if they just have the confidence and they know they're expensive, they might even just say, "Hey, we're one of the most expensive, but we're also one of the best. Let me tell you about your options."
I
Right?
love
So
it.
maybe they start with a pre-frame like that. But either way, they have this confidence that they know they have value and that
Hmm.
it's worth it. And then they present it like that, then people will go, "Oh, okay."
Hmm.
But if you have that anxiety deep down related to price, and you're this person, if you're always looking for the coupon code or the discount code, or you're trying to find the cheapest way to do something, then you've got a bit of that going on. And so, because that's your identity.
Hmm.
And so, I've noticed this, like, in order to get people to be better salespeople, I can't just give them tactics,
Hmm.
I have to give them identity. And this is why my greatest sales hack I call the golden bridge formula. It's the most authentic way to sell, which is your personal why connected to the business why connected to the prospect's why,
Hmm.
because we always trust motives. And the default assumption in sales, if I don't know your motive and you're trying to sell to me, is you want my money.
Right.
And if I think that's your only motive is you want my money, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get that, then you're probably maybe even willing to be unethical in order to get that, might be the
Exactly.
assumption, right? So that's kind of the default assumption in sales. And so to correct that, if I tell somebody, hey, I'm Jason Hall, my personal why is to inspire others to love true principles. And so what that means is I love sharing what works and learning what works and teaching it to others. I would do that for free for fun. And so I created DoorGrow, and our why at DoorGrow is to transform property management business owners and their businesses. And so if our whole belief system is around helping people transform their businesses, so that allows me to basically feed my addiction to learning, coaches, masterminds, books, whatever, and turn around and be able to share what's working with others. And that's just fun for me. So I have a business that basically fulfills my lifestyle and allows me to have fun and do what I want to do. And you, Mr. Property Management Business Owner, who I'm maybe selling to, want to grow your business. And so our interests are in alignment.
Hmm.
My business is the bridge that connects your why to my why. We both get what we want. It's the ultimate win win, right?
Hmm.
Everybody wins. And so I've been able to take really terrible salespeople that are really bad at selling, and I just get them clear on their own identity,
Hmm.
who they are, why they do what they do, and have them relate that to people. And then people trust them. And
Hmm.
sales and deals happen at the speed of trust.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. It's insanely powerful too when I'm teaching people how to do just introductions.
Hmm.
A super quick formula too for the property managers out there that are listening to, that are, every single day. Even if you're a property manager, you have to get good at sales. You have to
Yeah.
be good at communication to be able to bring more doors into your portfolio. And so the way, a really easy formula for those homeowners when you're having that conversation, first of all, they've got to know who they're talking to.
Yeah.
This belief identity, matrix that I love to call. I just did a keynote. It's funny for everybody listening. It's almost like Jason and I have read each other's notes, but we haven't. Just did a
Well,
keynote
that's
maybe a month ago in Minnesota that the entire talk was your thoughts create your belief about yourself, your belief
totally.
about yourself creates your identity, and then your identity creates your outcomes.
Yeah.
But we have to go back and start with those thoughts.
Mm.
And so, but a simple, easy formula for property managers out there having this conversation is, first of all, start asking permission for things.
Yes.
We can't just tell, right? Everything is, if we can ask it as a question, ask it as a question. So ask permission, like, hey, before we get started, do you mind if I take a quick minute and just introduce you to our company and myself?
Mm. Yeah.
And so, first of all, when anytime a conversation starts, there's always this period of ice breaking, right?
Yeah.
Anytime anything new is introduced in anyone's environment, there's always stiffness until that moment of rapport happens and we relax a little bit.
Yeah.
And so taking a couple of minutes to just hey, before we get started, do you mind if I introduce the company and a little bit about myself? Would that be all right? Some
Yes.
permission to it, and then just take a few minutes because I mean, so many times we'll go through this crazy presentation and then we're asking somebody to buy from us and they don't even know who we are. We never took the time to even introduce ourselves.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
they don't know anything about the company.
You're
Why
just
would
trying to
no wonder they need to
immediately
think
shove the
about it.
product or service down their throat. Yeah.
Yeah, no wonder they need to think about it. They don't even know who you are. And
Yeah.
so introduce that first. It's
Mm.
huge. And just getting into the thing, so that's the flow. It's like, okay, now that you know a little bit about us, tell us a little bit about you. What are you looking for? Right? And so then you start that discovery process. And I'm sure you train this, but the discovery process is everything. We have to understand the motive behind why they want to do things.
Mm.
If somebody just says, "Hey, I'm looking for a property manager." Okay, great. That's one thing. Why do you need a property manager? What are you trying to solve? What do we want to accomplish by
Sure.
having a property manager for your property? So we'd find out what are the pain points, what are the issues that they're wanting to overcome. And then from there we can create craft a conversation around it. But until we know that, we're just stabbing in the dark and just guessing at,
Yeah.
well, hopefully this will work.
Right. Yeah. If we just jump right to offering solutions when we don't even ask what they need, it's not very effective. And then they're going to have a ton of objections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So
So,
I totally rabbit trailed us off into something else, but yeah,
yeah,
that's the
love it.
some of the complaints we have are the communication, and the other one is the just not responding when we're once we find solutions, then offer give them to the property manager, and then it's like ghosting for who knows how long until finally somebody gets back. And so that's the other side of the communication is not getting resolution once we actually have we can do this work, but we're not going to sit around here all day to wait to get it
Mm.
approved. We have other appointments. So
Yeah.
do we want to reschedule? Do we need to do this or that? That's
It's,
the
treating the vendor like they're high value. They're going to treat you like you're high value and they're going to prioritize you. And so it really is a mutual respect relationship that needs to be built
mhm.
for sure. So, Sam, I also want to bring up to our audience, you are going to be coming to speak at Door Grow Live, and you're going to
Yeah.
be teaching some really cool stuff. Could you just touch on real quick what you're going to be sharing at this? Because
Hmm.
I wanted to come bring you to expose my clients and my audience to what you're going to be sharing, and maybe you can get some people pumped up for Door Grow Live. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you for the invite as well. I'm super excited to be speaking for Door Grow Live. It, it's my passion, in fact, to be able to help people in their daily lives, especially in conversations like this, to make it easy. I am such a firm believer that sales should be easy. If it's not easy, we're overcomplicating it. And so, what we're going to
absolutely.
be talking about at the event is I'm going to give some really simple keys to better communication, to so people actually not only listen, but they understand what you're saying, and they more importantly, why should they care? So we're going to
Yeah.
talk about what something's called the benefit lens. We're going to talk about some easy word substitutions. We're not going to be learning scripts or anything. We're going to be
Sure.
showing you really easy ways to get immediate buy-in to what our conversation is, and
Nice.
to how to just recruit people to be raving fans and be on board, and how to ask and get referrals, because
Mm,
that's huge in something
absolutely.
like property management. If every third door you added also added another one from a referral, what would that do to your business?
Yeah,
And so not
absolutely.
just asking for referrals, but actually asking in a way where actually get them.
Right. Yeah. If you're getting enough referrals, one because you have a good reputation, you're doing a good job, but also because you have an intention and you're asking appropriately, and you're adding, you create this kind of virus of growth
Hmm.
in your business where it's multiplying. Every client becomes more clients.
Yep, absolutely. In fact, we can do a quick little as an example of some of the things we're going to cover, are you open to doing a quick little role play with me on
All right, let's do it.
some of the conversation here?
Yeah,
I love
this
role play.
let's have
Um,
fun.
yeah, for sure. So I'm property manager. So before we do, give me a quick little context of what is a premium price property manager, and what is like a middle range property manager, and so I'll know what I'm working with here. Oh no, I lost sound here.
Oh yeah, usually our clients have three different price points for that reason. So,
Perfect.
but let's say like real typical in the marketplace is 10% is pretty normal.
Okay.
And this is not what we recommend because our clients close more deals more easily at a higher price point. So we have
Ooh,
some special pricing models. But let's say 10%, premium maybe 12%, and lower would maybe be like 8%.
got it. Got it. Perfect. All right. So I'm the property manager. You and I am. So I'm going to be a premium 12%,
Yeah.
and you. So what we're going to do in this conversation, I'm going to ask for the business, and you're going to give me a little bit of a price flinch with, well, the other guy was only 10%.
Okay.
And so we'll show a quick easy way to handle that
All right.
in a way that will make sense for everybody. So all right, Jason. So sounds like everything that you've talked about. Can you see how all the things we do will take care of the concerns that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great.
Awesome, perfect. So the next steps to get moving is, so we're just 12% of the monthly for us to be able to take care of all of that. And this will just need a quick authorization on this form here, and we can get started right away.
Ooh, okay. Well, I I was expecting, I talked to a company down the street. They were like 10%, which seems to be a bit more normal. I don't know.
More normal?
Yeah, I mean that's I've talked to a couple companies and a lot of them will do it at 10%. Like it's possible you could do it at 10%?
Oh, gotcha. So listen, I mean, so we were just 12%, but listen, we're not 2% higher or 2% more expensive. We're 2% better. Can I explain to you why that is?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. So at that point, we're going to go through all of those. The we're As a great company, you're going to have a hit list of all of the reasons why you're better than everybody else and what makes you that premium company.
I like
So
it.
the minute we get that permission question in of, hey, we're not 2% more expensive or 2% higher, we're 2% better, then the permission question is, can I show you why or can I show you how? And they say yes. Then we're going to, okay, so what we do, it's we're not never talk bad about the competition,
Sure.
but it's always with that perspective. So what we do is this, and what we do is this, and what we do is this. We're always going to have the availability to be in contact, you know, 24/7, or whatever all of the benefits is. We're going through this huge benefit list,
Yeah.
and then once we and it works like magic. Once you get to about 10 or 12 things, especially when you know those first 10 or 12 things are things the other companies don't do,
Yeah.
so many times that person will go, you know what, you're right. You know what, you're right. Let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. I mean, you go through those things, you say, so does that make sense why maybe we're 2% better? And they're going to be like, yeah,
Hmm.
you've got agreement. Cool.
Absolutely. And the other thing to do in this conversation, and this is really, really, really powerful too. So, we'll take, what's the average rent that we'd be taking that percentage off of?
Let's say $2,000.
So $2,000. That's what I was going to use. So we're talking about 2% difference. So we're looking at $40 a month or
Mhm.
$10 a week. Is it worth it to you for $10 a week to potentially fight the headache of your property management company not responding when you need them to respond, create your tenants being really unhappy, the
Mm.
tenants turning over and over for, I mean, $10 a week, is it worth it to you for that?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
if you're willing to roll the dice and take that chance, then of course you could do what you want. But if you want it done right, done once, so you're headache free and you're not going to have to, because the reason you hire a property manager is to be hands off, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what sets us apart next to any of the other companies around.
Got it. So hypothetical property manager Sam here, like believes, you can tell by listening to him, he believes in what he is selling. He believes he's worth that 12%. He believes he's worth that value. And I love that reframe. One of the NLP hacks I teach clients is it's not A, it's B. And he's like, it's not that we're expensive or higher price, it's that we're 2% better. And so you're saying this is how you are looking at it. Here's how I want you to look at it. And that's a really cool correction. I love that right there. Very powerful.
The other part of that too is when you take, we're not talking about the total monthly. We're
Mm,
talking about what's 12% of 2,000. We're talking about 2% difference.
yeah.
Is it worth it to you for a 2% difference to take the chance on having to
Yeah.
deal with this, having to manage your own projects, having the headache, having the
Yes.
the angry tenants, or we don't have that problem. And here's
Right.
proof: review, review, testimony, testimony.
Mm,
Other people in the area, in this in this area, from people that use us, just like you guys.
yeah. Awesome. Perfect. And you're going to
Yeah,
share some really cool stuff, I know, at Dorgo Live. I'm excited, man.
me too.
So
That's just tip of the iceberg. And
for a
just kind of, I didn't even prepare that. Just kind of
salesman,
off the cuff there.
to be able to like build a coaching business teaching sales, like these are the best in the world at sales. And so I'm really excited to have you come. I've I've sold millions and millions of dollars of stuff. I'm always learning more about sales. Like this is something you can always continually learn more. So I love that little reframe. That's a good one. I'm excited to hear what else you have to share. This is going to be really awesome. So, and if you're interested, go to doorgrowlive.com and get your tickets. Get your tickets. Our theme this year is innovating the future of property management, and we are bringing future ideas. I'm going to be going over hybrid pricing, a new pricing model for property managers. This is the future. We're going to be sharing our DoorGrow hiring system. This is the future of how you're going to need to do hiring, so you're not making mistakes with hires. We're helping a lot of people replace their entire teams. Anyway, DoorGrow Live is going to be really, really freaking cool. So, yeah, and it's a holistic conference as well. We're bringing people from outside the industry, people that are related to different things. I've got a biohacking expert. We've got different things just to optimize your life as an entrepreneur and to make you better at what you do. So this is going to be really cool. So, well, Sam, anything else we should touch on?
There's so much we could cover.
There's a lot. We'll save it
Um,
for Dorgo Live. How can people that if they're listening, they're like, I'm a vendor, or I've got this, or I could really use Sam's help. How can they get a hold of you?
yeah, absolutely. They can go to, of course, the website is closeitnow.net. That's NET. So closeitnow.net. They can email me directly, sam@closeitnow.net. I'm on Instagram at @therealcloseitnow,
Okay.
or basically search Close It Now anywhere, and I pop up all over the place.
All right.
I'm kind of everywhere on social media and on Google, the Googles at this point.
All right. All right. Well, we're going to close this show now. So appreciate you coming on, Sam. It's been great having you. And for those that are watching, listening, if you could use some help from Dorgo, reach out to us. You can check us out at dorgo.com. We are the world leaders at coaching and scaling property management companies. And so if you are dealing with operational challenges, team challenges, hiring challenges, or you just don't know the right strategies for adding doors, or business development, we can help you with all of that. So reach out to us. Check us out at dorgo.com. And until next time, to our mutual growth, bye, everyone.